move on to our next guest. She's a mom with a full-time job and a son who has brought joy to millions of people online. Cooper is 3 years old, and he is just your typical toddler who also happens to be deaf. Cooper and his mom, Beth, share their story online. Take a look.
Beep, beep, car.
Beep, beep at the car.
Beep, 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 car.
I can't beep. Can you wipe your boogers?
Beth and her family, they live in Alexandria, and she's about to release a book all about inclusivity inspired by her son. Beth, welcome here to Minnesota Live.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I'm excited.
And you beat the weather, it sounds like.
I did.
Wisely. So tell us about your son. Tell us about Cooper.
Oh, where to start? Cooper, I always like to say he's been a surprise since the beginning. We got engaged, and like 36 hours later, I found out I was pregnant, and it was just like go time from there.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, he has been just wild from the beginning. He's my biggest challenge, my biggest joy. Yeah, he was born profoundly deaf, so that was obviously a big curveball we weren't expecting. We had no reason to think that would be the case, and it was scary and hard and a lot of emotions, but it's also been a really beautiful journey up to this point.
What made you decide to take Cooper and you and your relationship to social media? What was kind of that like for you?
Yeah, I think for me, writing and being able to kind of share and put my emotions into words has always been a way of coping myself, so that's kind of how it started. It was the same thing. I've been sober almost 10 years, and when I got sober, it was something that I really enjoyed writing about, and realized along the way, like, you can help other people by doing this. So it kind of started as helping myself in a way and processing, and came back as it was really neat to be able to make that impact. And so that's kind of how this journey started, and I never expected it to turn into what it has. I mean, I jumped on TikTok at the beginning of the pandemic. I had no idea what I was doing. It was like something where I saw, teenagers dancing around, and I just kind of was like, okay, guess we're sharing.
Well, I mean, obviously people are very interested in what Cooper's up to and what you're up to. You have 544,000 followers on TikTok, 34.1 million likes on TikTok. You're also on Facebook and YouTube. So, I mean, people are drawn to this. What do you think about your story and your experiences with Cooper is so attractive to people and so interesting?
Yeah, I always say it's the cute kid and not me. But
yeah,
no.
Well, a cute kid helps.
Yeah, no, I think being authentic and real and genuine has always been important to me when it comes to social media. I think a lot of times we see, curated, polished versions of people's lives, and I just don't operate that way. I can't not wear my heart on my sleeve. And in sharing the hard moments, I've just been able to connect with a lot of other moms who have been like, thank you for sharing this. It's something that we don't see enough of, and it's kind of that same twofold reason. It helps me realize that I'm not alone, that it's okay. Parenting is hard. Being a mom is hard. We're all just kind of winging it.
For sure.
And at the same time, it helps other people realize that too.
Tell us about this book, The ABCs of Inclusion.
Yes, I still can't believe that's real and sitting there. Like, that is
That's
my
your
only
book.
copy,
Yeah.
the
Right?
only copy right now. The idea for that came about probably the end of 2021. So I wrote a nonfiction book about our entire journey and self-published that. And kind of after that, people were like, so when's the kids book coming? When's the kids book coming? And I'm a person who likes to kind of be able to do everything when it comes to a project. So I was like, well, I can't draw, so there's no kids book coming. But obviously I figured out along the way, there's people who can connect me to illustrators. And so the idea specifically for this came about, I was driving one day and it just literally popped into my head. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I was trying to think of a way that it could appeal to a broader audience versus just parents of deaf children, because that inclusion as a whole is really what my platform is built on. And I was like, you know what? I have met so many parents of kids along the way, and all of these kids have real stories, so why not take those real stories and make them into something appealing to kids, but also educational.
So each letter represents a different category of something that some families are dealing with.
So the letters are actually the kids. I wanted it to be like a person
the letters
first.
Are the kids.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that's why C was on Cooper. Now I get it. Okay.
Yeah. So I wanted it to be person first versus diagnosis first. But yeah, they're all a different diagnosis.
And this launches next month, right? Your book, March 21st?
March 21st.
And
World Down Syndrome Day, too.
Perfect. So how do people can order this right now online?
Yes, so the pre-order is available. That's all on my website. There's various options if you want to support local, if you prefer to do Amazon, Barnes & Noble, that's all listed there. So it's super exciting. I don't know.
So what's next, Beth? I mean, my goodness.
I'm
You're
guessing
so-
about 1,000 things.
I know,
I
you're so
know.
busy, but I mean, to have the TikTok following and the social media presence and to have this book that's coming out in March, I mean, the fact that people are so eager for information, for more, for your videos, has to tell you that what you're doing relates to people. So what's the next idea that hits you when you're driving?
I'm launching a podcast soon on March 3rd that comes out, which is World Hearing Day, with Christy Keene, who's one of my friends. She was actually the first person on Instagram that I reached out to after Cooper's diagnosis. And she had a ton of followers, and I was like, she's never going to answer me. And she did, and it meant the world to me. So that's kind of played into, like, I try to be really responsive in my messages. And sometimes that can be overwhelming, but I always think back to, okay, Christy did that for me.
Yeah.
So we just decided, there's a gap in the podcast world when it comes to not only parenting deaf children with hearing devices, but also just any language approach in general. And so we both use a bilingual approach with our kids, where we use ASL in addition to spoken language. And we wanted a podcast that could kind of encompass that and feature various guests and professionals. So that's kind of the next big thing. I'm sure there's probably a second book down the line.
That's exciting.
But I'm gonna let this one ride out for a little bit.
Yeah, get in people's hands first.
Yeah, well, congratulations on the book and the podcast and the social media, and we wish the best for Cooper and appreciate what you're doing to sort of help people understand a little bit more about your guys' situation. And
Thank you guys, I
Thanks
appreciate
much.
that.
If you'd like to follow Beth and Coop on their daily adventures and to pre-order her book, search Beth_and_Coop. We posted a link, by the way, on our website, minnesotalive.com. Makes it really easy for you.